My last question is about the other verticals that surround the real estate transaction. So I see a lot of real estate companies and agents looking at title, looking at escrow, looking at mortgage. Obviously, I'm in mortgage, so I feel that one a lot. Looking at mortgage, looking at insurance, looking at other verticals. Let's just focus on the mortgage vertical for now, because I think that they're trying to get, you know, a little piece of every ancillary service that surrounds the real estate transaction, which is fine. But in the mortgage space, I'm just curious what you're seeing now as far as, look, there's always been MSAs and ASAs. There's always been desk rentals. But now I'm seeing, you know, and am doing some of these things myself, you know, where you have dual licensing, you know, and partnering with a mortgage company. We're looking at owners of real estate companies being branch managers of a mortgage branch to be able to earn there. Obviously, joint ventures are still a thing, but difficult with low volumes because it's hard to be a joint venture in a non-profitable thing. So no one's really wanting to do that, but they're there, right? So you get some joint ventures. So I'm just curious, you know, and then some real estate companies opening their own mortgage services altogether. So I'm just curious, your guys' take really quick before we wrap this up. Like, what do you see happening now? What do you see happening in the future? What's your thought on this, you know, as margins shrink, which, hey, just little known secret to all you real estate agents out there, margins are shrinking over here too, right?
Yes.
So margins are shrinking in mortgage, but as margins shrink on the real estate side, partly because, you know, the growth of the teams, less people capping, all these things, I get it, but they want to find other places for revenue. How do you think that, what do you see in there? What are the trends there? What are your thoughts, if you have any, on that in particular? Jeff, you want to go first?
Well, I think if someone should do it, they should do it with you.
I like that one. But we don't need to talk after this. I got an idea for you.
Personally, you know, what you focus on expands. And in the past, I've attempted to do that, have my wife get involved. And it was very complex and 1, 2, 3 too many for me. And I'm like, okay, where I see opportunity is just buying more real estate, because my investments actually make more money than my real estate company. But what you're doing, I see a lot of people successfully doing, partnering with lenders, title, escrow, and all that stuff. Anton's into that stuff, for sure.
Everyone has the black mirror in their pocket. And what we've come to expect is services bundled.
Right.
And packaged together. One-stop shop. And I think that mental change in the consumer is actually what's forcing this, even more than the chase of margin. Now, businesses will always chase margin, but I think the consumer has started pivoting that way. So the reasons we snuck into other verticals, you know, property management, construction, escrow, insurance, blah, blah, is the customer would just, hey, who should I get insurance from? Hey, where should I go for escrow? Where do I get my title? And they would literally say, can I just drive to your office and do everything there? So I think it's not a margin chase, it's a shift in consumer behavior, because we've come to expect a certain level of convenience. We don't want to cook. You want to press the button and have Uber Eats deliver it to you. You don't want to go shopping. You want to go on Amazon and hit the button and have it delivered. Well, they're looking for that same thing in the real estate transaction. They want the everything app, where they're going to be able to do everything inside of that, or go and have one-stop shopping. That's just my feeling. We're not there yet, but I think you're going to see more consolidation over the long run. And then especially with the new administration pushing tech, pushing AI, pushing blockchain. Like, blockchain could fundamentally alter the title business, just for example.
Sure.
I think you're going to continue to see more consolidation. So I'm going to flip it around. I'm not going to say it's a want. I'm going to say it's a have to for businesses to survive and thrive in 2025.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more about margin than you're leading on, but hey, fair enough. Because I've talked to people about it. Like, hey, we got to find other sources of revenue. I do think that it's driven potentially by the consumer. So it's a good point, but I also think that it's driven because we're doing the same thing to some degree.
But I'm also a salesman, so I'm always selling.
I get it. But I think about the services that we provide. We have a concierge service, that helps people with the moving process. We do have an insurance company now, that we're offered insurance. And as I think about it, and then there's other companies that do this on like Rocket Mortgage. I mean, providing full financial services is kind of the goal that they're going. Point being is that banks have done this forever, where they know that if they have, multiple different relationships with that, if they have their car loan, their mortgage, their checking account, their savings account, their business account, this person's not going anywhere. So I think there's another aspect of stickiness that gets created. So I don't know that it's the borrower saying, oh, I need all these services together. But man, if I could get everything in one spot, I'm less likely to go talk to my insurance agent who then might refer me to a different real estate agent or who might actually do real estate themselves. I mean, or whatever the case may be. So there's the stickiness factor.
I didn't think about that. That's a huge part of it too, because so many loan officers and real estate brokers survive on referrals. So that stickiness it's a service and it keeps them in your ecosystem. That's a phenomenal point.
I think it's going to challenge relationships though within the industry.
Sure.
It starts being a conflict if we offer insurance and all the real estate companies we work with offer insurance, and then they might go, if I'm a managing broker and owner like you, but like, do we want to work with that mortgage company who's then going to try to take, our insurance business? So I think it's something everyone's got to be careful about as you look at these other things is, yes, provided if people need it, but how much are you pushing it? Are you requiring it? There's a lot of nuance here that comes into play, but it'll be interesting to see how it evolves because everyone, look, we have all these services, and if everyone thinks they're the center of the spokes, right? Meaning if every person who offers an ancillary service thinks that they need to build a real estate company around them, a mortgage company around them, a title company, and then the title company thinks they need to have all, it's like, hello, at what point do we, how do we work together? Now we're all in silos trying to compete for that same customer. And, I think the sharing of services has worked well for many decades. So,
and I think that's going to continue too. So the part also that we're discounting is I think we're filtering it through our lens, and our lens is, a different percent of the total real estate or lender population. I think the average professional in those industries wants to just do transactions.
Totally. I agree with that.
And we're thinking about it more like entrepreneurs, like business owners, like people who, want to scale something. Most people just want to do transactions. They want to hang out with their kids. They want to go on vacation. They want to buy a property and be healthy.
Well, fair enough. And I agree with that. I would say most people that watch his podcast fall into that category, but they see it happening. And then they're like, why is everybody trying to get into insurance? Why is everybody trying to get into mortgage? I just lost my best real estate office because they brought in a branch of ABC Mortgage, that they partnered up with. So that's why I bring it up. You're right. I mean, we all own, or manage, large, businesses. And so we do think that way, but everyone's impacted by it to some, especially on the mortgage side. 100%. On the mortgage side, if you have not been hit up by a real estate company, or at least told by the real estate company that you closely work with that, how is it that we're going to have a partnership financially in order to keep this relationship moving forward? Then I don't know that you're living right now. You're not talking to enough real estate agents because it's happening all the time. And
that also goes to show you how tight the margins are.
It's a little bit like racketeering.
But that also, I think, goes to show you how tight the margins are right now on the real estate side. Because I own two, and then with Ben, I get to see all of the, so I get to see like 1,700 agents, in a bunch of different brokerages. It's tight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, beyond tight. So everyone's hunting for margin because they're how do I keep the doors open, keep everyone happy, keep everything moving?
Right.
And but we flip it around.
More marketing.
The marketing problem.
But, like, if you flip it around and you think, what if the 10-year is dropping and transactions were already showing up in January, and this is go season. Ignore the noise, boys and girls. Put your head down, work, market, make phone calls, do the open house, whatever. I think it's go time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this other stuff is just like, this is some noise. Like, just let's go.
I agree. We're going to end on that note because I couldn't have said it better.